she's elegant. She's well-read, well-traveled. And that's not that person than provost. And the first female provost of the College of Health Sciences of the University in Nigeria, Professor Dennis Adegoye. You are welcome, ma. Right there on the high table as well, I have the Chief Medical Director of Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex in Nigeria. And for your information, this year, Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex has turned 50. And the institution is advancing in leaps and bounds, breaking boundaries, and it's worth celebrating. The Chief Executive Officer of that institution is right in the midst. Jam your hands together for Professor John Akinola. You are welcome, sir. Thanks for being here. I also want to invite to the high table the registrar of this institution, no other person than Mr. Bakari Kamadin Adetunji. Sir, you are there. You have a seat on the high table. Thank you very much, sir, for being around. The head of the department of HAEMATOLOGY, the head of the department of and Immunology, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, is also in our midst. Come your hands together for Professor Rahman. Thank you very much, sir. Before I move on to introduce some other guests so that we can kickstart this program, I also want to specially introduce the husband of the celebrant of today, who happened to be a past chief medical director of Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex in Ife, an erudite surgeon, and a classical academic as well. Please jam your hands together for Professor David Akinola. He's the initiator of Advanced Shoulder. You know, this institution is for learning and for culture. So we'll do a lot of that today. Let me quickly introduce some of our guests as well. I have on my list here, Dr. Ikeoluwapo Akinola. That's the sister-in-law. You are welcome, ma. Kabiyesi. Mrs. Laide Tunde Gafar. Mrs. Laide Tunde Gafar, thank you very much, ma. It's also in our midst, wherever you have you. Okay, thank you. We have Mr. Chris also in our midst. Mr. Chris, where are you? Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. That's our learned fellow. I hope we are in order. Thank you very much. We also have Miss Dupe Ni Adeyemi. Miss Dupe Ni Adeyemi, wherever you are, ma, please just wave your hands. Thank you. Okay. The Chairman Medical Advisory Committee of Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex is also in our midst to honor this erudite scholar. Welcome with me, Professor Josephine Ezeyi. Professor Josephine Ezeyi. Thank you very much, ma. You can see the cap celebrating the 50th anniversary of Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex. Right here in our midst, I can't forget some of our teachers, our mentors, our fathers in this profession, our moms. Let me start in no particular order from Professor Durosimi. Professor Durosimi and his wife, they are here. Alaja, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Those are great mentors. Professor Adenike Adeye, retired, an erudite ophthalmologist,
Nigerians like. We don't like anything academic. Well, what get participating?
Some of your time, and I think we should just move on. Shall we rise as we move to item number 4? Shall we rise? Take the national anthem first, and then we take the OU anthem.
And justice
ọmọ ẹnu wà ní olóògbàmílẹ̀ láàárọ̀ yìí mọ́mí ìdúpọ̀ ló gbà mílẹ̀ láàárọ̀ fóònù ti lọ èèyàn bá yàn sọ̀rọ̀ láti Nàìjíríà rẹ̀ kan yìí mọ́mí iṣẹ́ tẹkinọ́lọ́jì ó. Iṣẹ́ tẹkinọ́lọ́jì ó ti lọ sọ́nà jíjìn olórí ti máa bọ̀ kù èrò ní kékeré ní kékeré kí n tó lọ rí káàkiri ló ní bóyá wọn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ìjọ ẹ̀ ní. Ẹ wá wò òun ni obìnrin yẹn náà ni òun ló máa jẹ́ pé òun ló wọ blue green tó jókòó sórí wà ní ṣọ́ọ̀tì. Ọmọ abẹ́kùnrin tó ní kíní lòun náà bó òun kéde ọdún tó dábìlì tí yẹn náà náà fi hàn sí. Kì í ṣe rẹ máa bọ́ ọyún àtọ́ bí òun bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ọmọdé ó lọ wọ́n gbé lọ sí kó máa mọ̀ bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ nǹkan tó ṣe dàbí òòtó òbú ẹ̀ gan tó mọ̀ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n wá gbé lọ sí UK.
Thank you very much. You may be seated.
The medical school be.
I want to also humbly introduce Professor Aisha Momo. She's an Miss. Thank you very much for being a Miss, ma, wherever you are. Thank you very much, ma. We appreciate you. Thanks for being here. So we'll move on quickly. Before we move on, I noticed that while we're singing the national anthem, only the elderly were able to sing the national anthem. I wonder why the younger ones are not learning this. Though I met it in my primary school those days, but I can only sing the stanza 1 offhand. Maybe next tomorrow I will next the remaining 2 stanzas. It's for our nation. We must be proud of our nation. You can see me in the national attire. Omo Yoruba tatanimi. And when you are in OAU, you demonstrate good learning and also culture. Let's move on to number 5 on our agenda. I will, without any further delay, invite to this podium to give his welcome address the head, Department of Hematology and Immunology, Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences, College of Health Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. Please jam your hands together as I bring to the microphone Professor Rahman Bolaro.
Gbogbo kí ni ló yẹ ká ṣì wá lọ ètò sí network services ní Nàìjíríà. Wàá pé èèyàn gbórúkọ tó dá láì torí ó tún ti lọ
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. MC. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I warmly welcome all of you to this great occasion. A great occasion which is taking place in the month of September. It is quite heartwarming to welcome all of us and to see many familiar faces and also quite a number of new faces at this occasion. As the MC has said, my name is Professor Raman Ayodele Bolarewa, at the head of the Department of Hematology and Immunology, OAU, and the Teaching Hospital, Ile-Ife. We are gathered here today to celebrate the Mama of Hematology, the Department of OAU, Department of Hematology at the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Ile-Ife. Our own Professor Norah O. She's a great mentor and a hematologist par excellence. I also want to recognize our Baba, D.O. Akinola, John, and the former CMD, the husband of the celebrant. He's a former CMD of OHHC Ile-Ife. You are welcome, sir. We indeed thank the Almighty God for this occasion coming up today. He has given us a very good weather. In our midst today, we are honored to have the Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor Samire, ably represented by Professor G. from the DVC Academy. You are welcome, sir. He's the chairman of this occasion. I also want to recognize the provost of the College of Health Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Professor Dennis Adigbengbe. The CMD, Professor John Okeni, the CMD OHHC Ile-Ife. Our deans that are here present today, and other deans here present. Also, I wish to recognize other eminent professors and accomplished professionals that are present today. We also want to recognize all our fathers in the Lord that are here. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome. I wish to especially recognize our elders in the medical profession. You are all recognized and all welcome to this occasion. We really thank all of you here for honoring our own Professor Norah O. Akinola. Today is a very great day, and we hope that we are going to really have an insightful occasion. I wish to specifically thank the LOC of this program, ably led by Dr. Mrs. Teo Wojigbe, a consultant hematologist, for their hard work and a job well done. They are the one that make sure that all is well for today. Today, as I said, we are here to celebrate Professor Norah O. Akinola. Today marks her 78th birthday, and today marks the completion of her active service at the OAU and the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Ile-Ife. I congratulate. Well, I'll just give a very short experience of my encounter with Professor Norah Akinola. Well, my first close interaction with her was when we are students. That was during our Part 6 posting in hematology. It was a relation program for hematology. Now, after the program, after the lecture, I was thinking myself, would I do hematology as a specialty after my training as a student? Well, today, some years after, we found myself as a resident in the Department of Hematology, OAU. And interestingly, Professor Akinola was my supervisor for my thesis during my senior residency. That was for my Part 2 FMC part thesis. for the college. Around that period, I remember that there was this international conference which was to come up in Ghana. She just mentioned to me that I have to attend that program. It's related to what I did for my part 2 thesis. I was just wondering, how do I gather money to attend this program and all of that? And some days later, she told me she had paid for it. I was just thinking, well, I don't know how to thank him. I think it's an opportunity to say thank you, ma, today. I really recognize your magnanimity for that. During that period, I was also supported, for this program by other senior person in the department at that time. All are now history. Also in 2015, I also remember she was the dean then, and she graciously approved my nomination as the acting HOD then. That was 2015. During the period, it came to me that, well, you have really tried, you have done well, and that's the way she always do, to encourage you to do more and do better, We have worked together on a number of projects and research grants, and she's indeed a mentor and a great supporter of coming ones. Today, we are here to celebrate you, ma. And on this note, I want to welcome all of you and all of us to this special occasion. And I wish all of us a pleasant and enjoyable experience. Thank you very much.
Please jam your hands together very well for the HOD, Professor. Thank you, sir, for making it so brief, but it covered matters arising. Right in this house, we have a professor of morbid anatomy and another M1, stalwart, Professor Modi Yeson. Thank you, ma, for being here. Professor Modi Yeson. Thank you, ma. Okay, thank you very much, ma, for being here. Professor Joseph from Chemical Pathology Department is also here. You are welcome, sir. Thank you. Please jam your hands together for him. Okay. I was just notified that my trainer is here. Help me jam your hands together very well for Professor Folafa Ponle. Thank you very much, ma. Professor Ernest Oji of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology is also here. You are welcome, sir. Okay. I wouldn't know. I like Professor Ijadiola is also here. Is it Mrs. or the IKT? Hey, the Vice Chancellor of Elizabeth University is also here. Professor IKT Ijadiola. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. Professor Mojisola Siri is also here, Director of DRPU, OAU, Ile-Ife. Thank you, ma, for being here. Thank you very much, ma. We appreciate your presence. Before I move on to the next item on the agenda, I observe that everywhere is so cold. Is it because it's a rainy day? Or is it because so many of us can't really connect with what hematology is all about? Because I'm sure some people will be wondering, if I had said surgery now, people understand it that, oh, surgery, people cut in, sew, and do all sorts of things. If I mention some other things, they can relate to that. But what is hematology? What is this thing about blood? Blood is so strong, oh. Blood is so strong. In fact, the Holy Book says that the life of the flesh one of the churches I'd attended before, the pastor was just preaching one day, and he then told a story for people to learn from of a man who had 4 children and eventually wanted to live outside the country. And he was made to undergo some tests, including DNA tests, to prove that those 4 children are his before he could take them out of the country. And after carrying out the DNA test, they found out they went to this man. What an unfortunate incident. So the pastor was warning every one of us that people should be careful, they shouldn't commit sin, they shouldn't do this and that. The Spirit of the Lord just came upon me as I was seated among the congregation. And I spoke to him quietly. He handed over the microphone to me. Is that why you are? He quickly handed the microphone. I wanted to say. He handed the microphone over to me. I then announced to the church that, praise God, based on this exposition by the Spirit of God through our Father in the Lord is laying it upon my heart that come next Sunday, on my bill and on the bill of my family, we will conduct tests for all the children in this church. I tell you, that was the end of that church. The following Sunday, we don't see anybody. Jam your hands together for the DVC academics. Professor Aderomu, as he comes up to give the opening remarks that the VC should have given if he were here. He's ably representing him. Jam your hands together for Professor G. Aderomu. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, the MC of this occasion. The celebrant of we want to really congratulate you. And on behalf of the Vice Chancellors of this great university, we want to really congratulate you for the opportunity God has given to you today. Congratulations, ma. But before I continue, I think I need to recognize the presence of our senior professors in the hall. Let me first of all recognize the provost of the College of Health Sciences, Professor Adegbengbe. I want to congratulate you because in the last 2 or 3 weeks now, we've been celebrating a lot of things at the College of Health Sciences. Even yesterday, I'm still with you in the college. And today, the management is the College of Health Sciences. Congratulations. Let me also recognize the HOD of Mama's department. We want to congratulate you because you are lucky that it is your tenure. Mama is retiring, and I'm sure she's going to retire for good. In Jesus' name. Let me also recognize Professor Kenny. We loan him to the teaching hospital, and I'm sure you are still coming back to the college. Thank you for the good work you are doing in that place. We really appreciate your effort. Let me again recognize our former Vice Chancellor. He just walked in while I was about to be called to this podium. Professor Ogmodede, can you stand up for recognition? We want to really thank you again for the support you've given to the university and also to the College of Health Sciences. Again, I will recognize Professor Ijadwola. I saw him walking in again, the Vice Chancellor of Elisa University. Where are you, sir? Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for coming. Let me also, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, recognize all our senior professors in the house. And the most interesting thing here is that I'm also half part of the college because my wife is also a consultant in the teaching hospital. So it's like I'm part and parcel of the college. And let me quickly recognize some of our senior professors in the college and also in the university on behalf of the Vice Chancellor. But before I do that, I will recognize the husband of the celebrant, the former CMD of the teaching hospital, Professor Akinola. I want to congratulate you. You've done so well. You supported her to this level, and I'm sure that you still continue to support her after retirement, because we are still going to be supporting the department until when you are tired. But I'm sure you are not going to be tired at all. So congratulations, sir. I also want to recognize Professor and Professor Mrs. Rosimi. I want to recognize you. Thank you so much for what you've done in that department and for the college and for the entire university. I want to thank you very much. Professor, I have a lot of professors here. So, and Olasode, Professor Olasode, you are recognized. Professor Olasode, the Deputy CMAC, I want to recognize you. Professor Oji, I want to recognize you. Professor Inkem, I can see you, recognize you. Professor Fakonle, I can see you. I can see the former provost of the PG College, Professor Ajayi. You are highly recognized. I can also see a lot of Professor Orafidia from pharmacy. I can see you sitting down quietly there. The Dean of Legal Sciences, I can see you. And so many professors here. Apology if I couldn't mention your name, but I'm sure that the MC already recognized all our senior professors and distinguished colleagues present here this morning. So again, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, we want to really congratulate you, ma. Today is a great day. Apart from representing the Vice Chancellor here, I believe that we've worked in one way or the other in the last 5 or 6 years, especially in the area of mentorship, research, teaching, and community services. She's also very passionate about finding a way to ensure that she mentors the younger generation. And as a professor, I'm sure that is one of the great things that we need to do, to mentor our younger generations so that by the time you leave the stage, you have the younger ones that will take up your work. So I want to really congratulate you for that, because I think we work on 2 or 3 proposals on that TED fund. And then you also assisted the university to review a lot of proposals that got a lot of funds from TED fund in the last 5 to 7 years. So on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, we want to thank you for that good. And I must say that we are not going to leave you. You are retiring today, but you still continue to work for the university. So the provost of the college, please, you have to do the necessary things to ensure that you stay her in the department to mentor as many younger generations as possible. Because that is the only way the university can grow and develop. So we are also to celebrate with her. So please, I want to encourage us to listen to the lecture and let us put our resources together to celebrate our mommy today. And I believe by the time you retired, sky is still going to be your limit. You will continue to support us, continue to do the way you are doing before retirement, so that that profession will still be number 1 in this country, and in Africa, and in the world. So on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I want to congratulate you again and to declare the valedictory lecture opened to continue. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, another round of applause for him. Thank you very much, sir. That was a nice one from the Deputy. kindly oblige us, sir. Please have your hands together for him. Thank you. A celebration like this and the microphone is convulsing. I think we need to invite the neurologist to administer some. Okay, thank you. So before we move on to the next item, I want to recognize the presence of Professor and Professor Mrs. Ikem. Professor Ikem, join your hands together for them. Professor Ikem is a surgeon. Professor Mrs. Ikem is an endocrinologist. Gbogbo àwọn títọ̀ ṣúgà ń dà láàmú. Ẹni tó ní gbòógì àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Endocrinology solution. This way we have them all. Come over. Issues should be solved there. Hello. This is better. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next item on our agenda. And it's for me to invite to this program to give a special remark. The purpose of the College of Health Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo University in Nigeria, Professor Dennis Adebayo, to this program to special remark. So very for her. This is the first of our college. Jam your hands together very well for her. Now,
Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here this morning on behalf of the College of Health Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo University. I'm delighted and deeply honored to celebrate and pay tribute to Professor Norah O Akinola on this occasion of her retirement. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol, but while I'm doing that, I still want to recognize the Vice Chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University, Professor Bamire, who is ably represented here by the DVC academics, Professor Adiromu. Thank you for coming, sir. And then all the our senior professors that are here, the retired professors that are in our midst, our daddies and mommies, all the HODs, then the Chief Medical Director of Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Professor John Okeni. Thank you for coming, and all the members of your management from OATAC, all members of management of Obafemi Awolowo University here that are here present, and those people that are watching us online, all our students that may be present here, the gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome to this occasion of celebration of retirement and the 70th birthday of our distinguished Professor Norah Akinola, an impactful career in the Department of HAEMATOLOGY is being celebrated today in the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences. Professor Norah Akinola is an outstanding scholar, a clinician, researcher, curator, mentor, and humanitarian whose contributions to medicine and society stand as a model of excellence. Professor Akinola's academic journey began at the University of Ife, now Obafemi University, where she earned a BSc in Health Science
all, and we have to recognize them. Dr. M.A. Oloshin is in our midst, former university librarian. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. We also have in our midst Professor and Professor Mrs. Fatusi. Professor and Professor Mrs. Fatusi. Thank you, sir, Amma. Professor Fatusi is the middle past Vice Chancellor of University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, Nigeria. He's also from the source. Nigeria, OAU, not Benny. We have the immediate past Vice Chancellor of this institution also in our midst. He came in quietly and sat down. Clap for a unique gentleman, Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede. Thank you very much, sir. Right in front of me, I can also see one of my mentors and a former NMA chairman, Osun State, and a former vice president of Nigerian Medical Association, Professor Razak Adebayo. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much for being here. Distinguished guests, as other guests are coming in, we'll be recognizing them. Let me move on quickly to item number 8, as we welcome the Chief Medical Director of Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex, Ile-Ife, Nigeria. The institution, Professor Norah Akinola, served for several years. For his special remarks, jam your hands together as Professor John Akiokeni comes to the podium. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I would wish to stand on the existing protocol for want of time and to respectfully thank everyone that is here, but nonetheless, still single out 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 persons. First, permit me to thank my teacher and the teacher of my teachers, who is the student of today. I don't know if she remembers the name she used to call me, Ajiroba. Then to thank my predecessor, an old grammarian and a counselor, whom I respect dearly, Professor David Agbashoroda Akinola. Yes. When somebody's way is pleasing with God, it makes everything smooth. And one of the persons most dearly beloved of God is David. I didn't know that there were families on earth that had 2 Davids. And for you to be sandwiched in between Davids, you must be exceedingly beloved of God. So your son, who is here present, thank you. Now, concerning all our medical elders, I would wish to single out a few. Professor Durosimi, the teacher of our teacher's teacher. And then 2 professors that we all love from their teaching. Professor Norah Akinola and Professor Adeoye, because of their students, but epitome of beauty. And they have aged gracefully. They have aged very gracefully. When we grow up, I'll do the 2. Well, just prophylactically. I would hope and pray that when I reach their age, God will grant me such grace. So you're welcome, ma. Then 2 other persons to epitomize our teachers, the younger retirees. Professor Makinde, who is here there. And you will see the grace that is upon these fellows when I call Professor Mrs. Ashale as well, who is just 8-year or 8-day-old retiree. So she's a neonatal retiree. I thank every other person here for your presence. I'm not going to say much at all. Professor Norah Akinola is someone I respect deeply. She taught me hematology, practical lab work, and I remember it dearly. So much so that when I was a resident in pediatrics, self-will, I decided to also come and study hematology to enhance my own professional training, because the very first lecture I attended in this university in the medical school was given to us by late Professor Caxton Market. His lecture that day was titled, "Blood is the Will of Life." And he said, we should discuss. The MC has said so much as well. Everything in life, including Christian mythology or Christian religion or Christianity, revolves around blood. I hope someday I will be able to answer Professor Caxton's question, because that question is so deeply philosophical. Blood is the will of life. I wondered why he asked us or why he taught us that in anatomy, and it has always driven me. Professor Akinola quietly does her things. Even there, when they were saying she gives money, she was trying to resist it, including counsel. I will say it in the open as well now. She's a great counselor. Real counselors do it in a way that you appreciate. And I thank you. I was scared last year when the CMA called me and then said, somebody fell in the college. You remember then? You wouldn't want me to say it now. But everything has to be said in the open because it was God's grace. If at your age last year you could fall from the height and you recovered perfectly, blemishlessly, obviously you enjoy God's grace. That grace my task as CMD before I do it, God willing. I will do that. Temporary site that you requested for, it has been granted, but for scarcity of fund, but it will be done soonest. It was in our plan and it remains your recommendation that there should be a sickle cell center. We will get there, God willing. Things have been very challenging in this country, but nonetheless, we have to trudge on. You have passed on the baton to us. I pray when you look back, we will not disappoint you. And I pray also as you go, God will be with you. I know I will visit you in Egbaland. I have many reasons to continue. I have a teacher there. Take care of him. God bless you. Thank you, everybody.
Another round of applause for the CMD. Thank you very much, sir. I'm just wondering. I'm a bit confused now. Deputy Vice Chancellor says, stay. The CMD says, go and enjoy. I'm sure she will take a decision. Okay, make I not talk much. Well, I want to recognize the presence of the following teachers and our fathers in the profession. Right here, we have Professor Fashiba. Professor Fashiba of UNG. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We also have Professor Adeyemi, also from Obstetrics and Gynecology. Thank you, sir, for being here. Retired Professor Makinde, and the Reverend Gentleman. You are welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Professor Shofo is also here. Thank you very much, ma. If you don't want to share Conley, Mama. Dr. Ilu is also here from the Department of Pharmacology and Therapeutics, representing the head of that department, Professor Ajayi. Thank you, ma, for being here. You are welcome. We'll move on quickly to the next item on the agenda, which is for a daughter to come and stand a teacher up in the course of trying to read the citation of that teacher. You know, that's the normal thing. When you want to read the citation, you now stand up, you stand that fellow up. So today, we are going to see the practice where a student, a trainee, now stand the trainer up. I'm not implicating you. That's what you may do. It's a matter of protocol. Let me go to the microphone, Dr. Temila, to come and read the citation, the valedictory lecturer for today. You're welcome, ma'am.
The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, the Provost of the College of Health Sciences, OAU, the Chief Medical Director, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols duly observed. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to read the citation of my Oga, who I call my mom in the department, Professor Norah Akinola. Professor Norah O. Akinola was born at Ile-Ife in 1955 to Mr. Joseph Akitayo Bangbaye from Otuayegbaju, Osun State, and Mrs. Gladys Latudu Bangbaye from Ile-Ife, Osun State. Blessed memory. She joined the services of MENTORSHIP University in October 1993 as lecturer 1 and rose up the ranks to become a professor in hematology in 2007. She has been an honorary consultant hematologist at the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospitals Complex in Ile-Ife from 1994 till date. She graduated with the following degrees: BSc Ife in 1978, MBCHB Ife 1981, Diploma in Clinical Hematology, United Kingdom 1989, PhD Birmingham, United Kingdom 1992, Fellow of the Medical College of Physicians 1994, and Fellow of the Medical College of Pathology in Hematology 1998. She has been working in the Department of Hematology and Immunology, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, for over 30 years. Her major research interests include sickle cell disease, lymphoproliferative disorders, particularly chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. She has published over 85 original articles in reputable peer-reviewed journals, and she is an author, co-author of a chapter in each of 3 books. Professor Norah Akinola delivered her inaugural lecture, which is the 330th inaugural lecture of OAU, titled Sickle or No Sickle, the life of the flesh is in the blood, no life, on 8th of January, 2019. She received the Outstanding Lecturer of the Year 2019 award, the Southwest Nigeria Education Awards, along with scholars from other professions at the Redeemers University, Ede, Osun State. Professor Norah Akinola has contributed to the training of many residents and supernumerary doctors from Nigeria in hematology and blood transfusion at the OAUTHC Ilefe. She has supervised or co-supervised 20 candidates at the postgraduate level, either for the MSc, PhD, or fellowship successfully. The first resident that she co-supervised was Dr. R.A. Adebayo, now professor of and head, Department of Medicine, a cardiology subspecialty, in the final examination of the West African College of Physicians in 2001. Our first PhD candidate at Obafemi Awolowo University Ilefe is Dr. now Professor Moji Sairi Lolutayo, who graduated with PhD in 2015 and won the Best Abstract Award at Sickle Cell Disease Association of America Convention in Atlanta, Georgia in October 2017. She was appointed a research professor of phytomedicine at Obafemi Awolowo University last month, to the glory of God. Many other residents that Professor Akinola trained are now professors. Professor Norah Akinola served as an acting HOD many times during her career and was a substantive HOD between 2021 to 2023 at OAU. She was the chairman of the Faculty Postgraduate Committee between 2002 and 2007 and a member of the board of the Postgraduate College from 2016 to 2017. She also served on the University Research Committee Tech Fund between 2017 and 2023. Professor Akinola was also the chairman of the Proposal Writing Committee for the creation of the new Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences from 2021 to 2023, in compliance with the directive of the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. To the glory of God. Outside the university, Professor Akinola was a member of the board, the Faculty of Pathology, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, Ijanik in Lagos, between 2005 and 2009, and the subspecialty chair for clinical hematology between 2017 and 2023 in the Faculty of Internal Medicine, also at the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. She's an examiner in both the faculties of pathology and internal medicine to date, and a reviewer for many national and international journals of repute. Professor Akinola obtained many grants, fellowships, and awards. Notable grants for research include the Wellcome Trust Award from the United Kingdom between 1990 and 1992, with which she obtained a PhD at the University of Birmingham, UK. The OAU Tech Fund grant for sickle cell research at the Drug Research and Production Unit, DPRU, 2012 to 2015, for the study of anti-sickling properties of common herbs. This resulted in the discovery of a candidate herbal anti-sickling agent that inhibits polymerization of sickle hemoglobin, which was patented in 2022. She's also a recipient of the National Research Fund Tech Fund grant from 2019 to 2022 for the study of the molecular and immunohistochemical characterization of some cancers in Southwest Nigeria, the role of infections, and human leukocyte antigens. Study number 6187145528. With this grant, Professor Akinola was able to establish a fluorescent in situ hybridization fish laboratory, the first of its kind in Nigeria. At the Department of Hematology, HHC Ilefe, for the accurate diagnosis and prognostication of cancers, especially chronic lymphocytic leukemia and other cancers, in addition to inherited conditions with cytogenetic abnormalities. Also, the International Workshop for Chronic Lymphocytic Leukemia Award Capacity Building Project Grant from 2023 to 2026 for an ongoing study of the cytogenetic and immunological characteristics of CLL in Southwest Nigeria. Professor Akinola is a senior partner on this study. Professor Akinola obtained a 3-month International Exchange Fellowship Award for the study of HIV/AIDS at the New American College of Physicians in 2004. She presented a paper titled The Brain Exchange, Insights Exported and Imported via ACP's International Fellowship Exchange and International Speakers Program International Committee at the ACP conference in San Francisco, USA in April 2005, where she was inducted as a fellow of the American College of Physicians. Professor Akinola was invited to be a member of the International Workshop for CLL in Global Partnership Subcommittee in 2020 to commemorate the International Women's Day on 8th March 2023. Professor Akinola participated in a webinar organized by the Women in Lymphoma group by giving a talk on the challenges associated with the treatment of lymphomas in Nigeria and became a recipient of the International Women's Day 2023 award. Professor Akinola provides care and support services for people with chronic diseases such as HIV, sickle cell disease, tuberculosis, and chronic lymphocytic leukemia through the establishment of patient support groups. This NGO partnered with another NGO, Global Sickle Cell Alliance in the USA, to establish a newborn screening program for sickle cell disease in Southwest Nigeria at OAUTHC Ilefe in December 2021. Professor Norah Akinola is the Southwest Coordinator for the Sickle Cell Support Society of Nigeria. She was the pioneer editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Journal of Hematology from 2016 to 2022. This is the first journal in Africa published by a hematology society. Professor Norah Akinola is a member of many professional associations and societies, which include the Nigerian Society for Hematology and Blood Transfusion, the British Society for Hematology, the American Society for Hematology, the African Society for Blood Transfusion, and the American College of Physicians, the International Workshop for Chronic Lymphocytic Leukemia, among others. She was elected a member of the European Blood and Marrow Transplantation Society and the European Research Initiative on CLL in 2024. In June 2025, she was given an emeritus membership status by the American Society for Hematology. Professor Akinola was a sportswoman who used to swim and play netball competitively at the primary school. She played basketball at the university level. Her team won a silver medal at the Nuga Games of 1976 in Ibadan, Oyo State. She's a devout Christian and is happily married to Professor Olayinka Akinola, a surgeon par excellence who is retired but not tired, and a former chief medical director of the Obafemi University Teaching Hospitals Complex from 1997 to 2005. She's blessed with a son and many other children and grandchildren who call her mommy. Thank you.
May we all rise as she comes to the podium. Let's continue the clapping. Keep clapping for her as she comes over. You are welcome back. Thank you very much.
Let your power flow in this place. Let your healing come in this place. I call for signs and wonders in this place. Let your presence show in this place.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir. My Lady Provost, ma. My CMD, sir. One and all the professors in the house, particularly my boss, Professor M.A. Durosimi. I also include Professor Fakunle, who was my dean when I was his vice dean. I recognize you, sir. All the vice chancellors in the house, you're all welcome. You know something? You're never too old to feel afraid of speaking in the public. Good morning to you. 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 Happy birthday to me. Thank you very much. Let me tell you the story or the history of that song. That song was created by two sisters in America. Their names were Patty and Mildred Hill. And they started that song with good morning to you. They were teaching children in school. So in the morning, they would tell the children, to you, they welcomed the children to class with that song. It was not until maybe 10 or 12 years later, in 1936 or so, that it was converted to the Happy Birthday song. And they have credits for that song till today. In fact, they have copyright of that song until 2030. So let's give them a round of applause. As I said, today is a wonderful day. One of the reasons was that my son and my brother came unexpectedly from the UK and didn't tell me they were see that we are not consumed because his compassion fail not. Lamentation 3:22. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. Romans 9:16. This is the month of September and it's quickly running out. But we still have a week or so to go. We remember in those days that the universities used to open in September. All right? And I want to thank the Vice Chancellor for trying his best to get the university calendar back into. Thank you very much, sir. It was this day, 51 years ago, in 1974, that I entered this university for the very first time. I was limping. Why was I limping? You know, I hail from Otaye Baju, as you have heard. And It's a rocky land, rocky area, you know, hills here, bumps here, and all that. The road is not, at least then, it wasn't smooth. And the path to my father's house was very rocky. And before I was to enter the university, my grandma visited us. And I was so excited to see her. You will know why later. So I ran out of the house to go and grab her and kiss her. And then I tripped and fell. And then I sprained my right ankle. So I had to come to university limping, using my father's umbrella. My father brought me here and took me straight to the health center for an x-ray. Imagine that the x-ray unit, everything was working very well then. Beautiful university. And I was so well taken care of, I didn't know that I was in Nigeria. Don't worry, I'm going too fast. I'll back. So September is the awareness month for sickle cell disease. All right? It's also the awareness month for hemato-oncology conditions. 901, the first day of September, is used to commemorate and celebrate the advances in chronic lymphocytic leukemia. 915 is for lymphoma. 920 is for acute lymphoblastic leukemia, ALL, which is common in children, more common in children. And 922, which was yesterday, is for chronic myeloid leukemia. And the doyen of chronic myeloid leukemia is sitting in front of me here, Professor M.A. Durosimi. Thank you very much, sir. So, what is hematology? You've heard a lot about that. It is the study of blood and blood diseases, pure and simple. But you need to know what blood contains. But this is not a lecture on hematology. So I'm going to skip all that. But what is important to me right now, and which I want to bring out into the open, as I've been told, we must bring these things out in the open. Yes? Okay. Hematology is a subspecialty of medicine. It has both laboratory and clinical components. All right? And that is why we don't have house officers, because it's a subspecialty. All right? House officers are found in the major, specialties of medicine, surgery, surgery, medicine, ONG, and pediatrics. They have house officers. Subspecialties don't, which means if you want to practice hematology, you must have basic training in internal medicine. That's the way it's done abroad, in the UK, in America. But Nigeria is different. So we dare to be different. But I'm posing another matter to us today. In Nigeria, you find that hematology is being trained by 2 faculties in the same college, which I think is a misnomer, really. It shouldn't be. If it is the same subspecialty, then there should be some harmonization between the 2 faculties that are training hematologists. You have faculty of pathology, training people to become pathology hematologists, that is FMC path hematology. And then you have internal medicine, training people to have FMCP clinical hematology. The West African College, however, is somewhat different. They have just 1 faculty that trains people to have FWACP laboratory medicine. As I said, in Europe and America, hematologists will have the FMCP first, and then the FMC path on top. So who am I? You may know me, but you may not know me fully. So I describe myself as Norah O, the firstborn of Joseph Bangbaye and Gladys Olatudun Bangbaye, who was born in Ile-Ife here 70 years ago, and became the wife of David Olayinka on the 22nd of December, 1979, and the mother to David Ikeoluwapo. I am an alumna of Great Ife, BSc Health Sciences 1978, with the MBCHB 1981. So I'm also a physician, that is, I have FMCP and FMC path. I dared to be different. Both in the same college. I then went out also to get a diploma in hematology. At that time, Professor Tony Akintomide, we were residents together in internal medicine. The two of us decided to go to Hammersmith Hospital, not to Japa, but to read and return. So we did. And while I was out there, I was able to get a PhD. The story about that you'll hear in a few minutes. But above all, I am a princess of the Most High King, the King of Kings. I am a child of God Almighty. These are pictures of my family, the second and fifth generations. I'm not sure you're there yet. Okay, there you are. It's there. Find my brothers all laughing and enjoying. That was my 60th birthday. They were doing cheers to me at that time. You have Ayo Kunle, Akin Shokwe. Tim is here seated, and my son. Shokwe's daughter, youngest daughter, Kayla, she's there in the middle there. That's back home now. Shokwe and his wife. And then Shokwe's first daughter, Omolara, with her children. So we see so many generations of the Bangbaye family. Where did we start from? 1960. In those days, you know, our parents who were education-oriented, when they got their A-levels, they will find a way to travel abroad. So Japa syndrome has always been there, but it was never called Japa. Because their intentions was to go and read and come back, not to remain. So my father in 1960, with 4 or 5 A-levels, was refused entry into University of Ibadan and decided, okay, whatever it takes, I'm going away. I'm going abroad, I'm going to the UK. So he took this picture. And you see there, my grandma sitting beside him. He's carrying Tim. Tim is in his hand then, 1960. I'm the one standing on the other side. That's little Norah at 5 years old. And I have 3 aunties from my father, half sisters. Eniola is sitting beside my mother. My mother is holding the Idowu to the Taiwo. And Eniola is sitting beside my mother. Olushola is standing between them. And Auntie Kemi is standing between my grandma and my dad. Look at the fashion. Look at the material these people were wearing. I beg you, have we not gone back to it? Yes, now, this is 1960. I was shocked when I looked at it. I said, really? We're gone back to the 60s. Very good. Now, amongst all of us here, my grandma died some time ago when I was doing my PhD. My father died in 2017, December. My mother died in a ghastly road traffic accident in 1980. When she died, that's probably the last I remember her, because after that, we also were invited to join our parents. So Daddy left for UK in the 60s. Our mother joined him in 2 years later in 1962. 2016.